Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today with another one of our Zoom presentations with NKA. We appreciate all of you participating and being part of this with us. So as you can see on the screen, today's presentation is called 6 Pillars of Brain Health. So hopefully that is the one that you knew you were signing up for. My name is Marie Bonaminio, and I am one of the volunteers for AARP in Idaho. It just happens today we do have volunteers who are doing this presentation, and they are also part of our NKA program, along with being part of AARP. So in giving you just a brief history of the program itself, it's been probably over 15 years now that a group of dedicated volunteers, which we all call ourselves dedicated volunteers, and you also could be one of us if you would enjoy being part of a group, they all came together to create this program. And it did begin in Pocatello with a partnership from Idaho State University. And at that time, they were just trying to figure out how to do a program like this to get people involved and have many different programs and classes that would interest all of you, all of us in general. It was in 2014 when AARP Idaho joined up with Idaho State University in Meridian and Treasure Valley YMCA, and this all came about. Now we have 2 different sessions, one in the spring, one in the fall. We do several classes. We would love you to promote this for us with anyone that you know that might be interested, that has something they would like to share with us. We'd also like to promote to you to be part of us also. This last year, we've been doing all of our classes on the Zoom scope. This could continue, or we may change when AARP allows us to gather in person, or we may do a variety of both because this seems to work. As I have said, we are all volunteers. There is a curriculum committee, which I happen to be on, and we're always looking for new ideas. So if you have any ideas or classes that you think might be of interest, please let us know. You can contact us and we'll take a look at that. So as I said earlier, today the volunteers that we have are going to be putting this class on together. This program that we're putting on today does happen to be something that is national in AARP, but we're putting it on through Idaho, and we have structured it to be about an hour class. So I will go ahead and change the slide and we'll go to the disclaimer slide. Okay, so just to let you know that we are not experts. We're not doctors, or any of us do not have that expertise, but we just want this program to be educational and informal. And it's not really medical advice. It's just us telling you things that we have learned and that has also been provided to us to share with you. Our goal is that you'll gather some tidbits today that you can share with others. And also, it's something that will make you realize how important it is to have good brain health. So I also want to tell you that I'm going to be facilitating this. And what we'll be doing is, hopefully you have all used the chat button, which is at the bottom of your screen, has like a little bubble that says chat. That'll be something that occasionally throughout the presentation, we'll be asking you to put different things into chat, maybe your ideas, your thoughts, or if you have something you'd like to say, please put that in chat and I'll pay attention to that. We do have all of our participants at this point coming in for the next couple of minutes, and this class will be recorded. So if you know someone who wasn't able to make it today, they'll be able to find this class after we complete it today. So at this point, I'm going to let the volunteers who are doing the presentation today go ahead and introduce themselves as they start each section of the presentation. So take it away.
Thank you, Marie. My name is Eduardo, and I am a communications and outreach intern at AARP, and I will be introducing our topic today. During today's conversation, we will discuss these 6 pillars of brain health. Pillar number 1 is engage your brain. Pillar number 2 is be social. Pillar number 3 is ongoing exercise. Pillar number 4 is eating right. Pillar 5 is restorative sleep. And pillar number 6 is manage stress. And now Carol will present the first pillar.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol Harcade. I am an AARP and NKA volunteer. And as Marie said, we always look for new people, new ideas. So please think about joining us in a volunteer role. Marie will put contact information for the person you can contact if you're interested in volunteering with AARP. She'll put that in the chat box. All right, our first pillar is engage your brain. So what does this even mean? And how can we do this? Well, until the mid-1990s, we thought the number of brain cells in a person's body was constant. It didn't change. But we now know that the growth of new brain cells occurs throughout our life, even as we grow older. We also know the brain is quite adaptable, and this is called neuroplasticity. For example, we can create neural pathways in our brain by challenging the brain. Well, how can we encourage this? The key is to find things that are new, novel, and challenging for you, and also that you enjoy, of course. Challenging your brain can be easier than you think. There are some simple things you can do each day. For instance, brush your teeth or eat your meal, holding the implement in the other hand, the hand you don't normally use. Or you can, when you eat, close your eyes for a few bites. Another idea is to sit at a different spot in your house when you read, or sit at a different place at your dining room table to eat. You can also do simple things like taking a different route to the grocery store or to run errands. For example, I walk my dogs every day, and so at least once a week, I try to take a different route, or sometimes I'll even just reverse the route and go a different direction. All of these simple things require your brain to do some work because it's encountering something that's new to it. It's encountering something it hasn't experienced before, and these are ways of exercising our brain. You can also pursue new interests, as the slide says. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the next slide. And the last two ideas on this slide, you can stay curious and challenge your thinking. Well, when you're curious, you tend to seek out new people and you encounter new ideas or new information. And this often results in you gaining new perspectives on things, on the world around you. Understanding another person's point of view or information, processing information that's new to you, require you to learn to think differently, to use your brain in a slightly different way. And when you think differently, this helps to create new neural pathways. Next slide, please. You can also take or teach a class. And everyone here is taking a class today, learning more about brain health and challenging themselves to encounter new information. You can learn a new language, a new dance, or learn to play a new musical instrument. And by the way, last week you should have gotten an email with an attached resources list for the 6-pillar presentation. And this is something that we put together that is mostly websites or articles online that give you more information about each pillar. And when we're looking at that second bullet, learn a new language, under pillar 1 on the resources list, there are several websites where you can learn a new language. Some of them are free, some of them charge a little bit, but there are so many resources online right now. And with us being restricted still a little bit about what we can do, online resources are valuable. You can try new arts and crafts, but again, make sure there's something complex and novel, new to you. And the last idea on this slide, play challenging card or board games. Again, the important thing is pick a card game or a board game that's new to you that you haven't mastered, because if it's easy for you, you're not really challenging yourself. the internet has quite a few sites that are labeled with the word brain games, and they can be very valuable. But again, try to do something that's new to you. If you like to do crossword puzzles, by all means, continue to do them because they will benefit you. You can continue to grow your vocabulary. But unless you try something that is different, that you haven't mastered, that stretches you, you're not really going to engage your brain fully. So those are just some ideas. Next slide. All right. So how are you learning new things? Take a moment, go down to the chat button, which is the bottom of the screen, and type in a phrase or a few words to tell us how you're learning new things. Marie will scan the input in the chat box, and then she'll share just a couple with us.
So hopefully you all have learned where the chat box is. So you can just put in a phrase, a couple of words, or something that you think would be of interest. And I see Pauline has said taking classes. Absolutely. Everything you take is a learning experience. We understand that. And Chris is saying YouTube videos, Tai Chi. Agreed. History Channel, learning about new plants and when to plant them, reading new self-help books. Several great ideas here. And Gypsy is going to the AARP gardening webinars to learn about plants. I think we have a lot of opportunities this year that since we've all learned how to Zoom. New recipes, walking in different directions that are new to me. I think that's great. New town, learning new routes. Tennis. Any type of ideas about exercises. Trying to learn Spanish. There you go. Learning a new language, always challenging at an older age, but you can do it. Reading editorials to understand other political views. That's something everyone should try to do. I agree. Okay, looks like we've gotten several ideas here. I have someone that I've been walking with Georgia AARP and I want to learn Italian. There you go. Setting goals for yourself, maybe little goals that you can accomplish is wonderful. Okay, I think we can go to the next pillar.
Okay, thank you, Marie. So I will be presenting on pillar number 2, stay socially engaged. Okay, so the second pillar of brain health is staying socially engaged. While we may not be able to gather in person, there are many ways to stay connected from afar over the phone or even through video chat platforms like FaceTime and Zoom, just like you're doing right now. Studies suggest that people who have good social networks live longer and are physically and mentally healthier than people who are socially isolated. Connecting with other people is stimulating and challenging and often adds meaning and purpose to our lives. In fact, experts say social connectedness is a key predictor of health and independence in later years. So what can you do? Stay engaged with friends, family, and community. According to a study presented at the 2015 Alzheimer's Association International Conference, feeling lonely is dangerous for your brain health. Seek out people who may share your interests. Don't overlook animal companionship. Furry and feather friends can bring great joy and purpose into our lives. And last but not least, consider exploring virtual volunteer opportunities. Here are a few other ideas to help you get involved. organize a regular virtual game night or book club, attend virtual community events, and considering adopting a pet or pet sitting for family and friends. Now let's hear from you. So once again, go to your chat and answer this question. What are some ways that you are staying socially engaged?
I'd say attending this presentation today is a great way to stay socially engaged, since we're all together here, learning something new. Meeting with friends and family. Making that, I think, something you do often, whether it's online or eventually here in person. Enrolled in grief share class, Bible studies. Former coworkers once a month on Google Meet, good idea. Video chats with family and friends, Zoom chats, in-person visits, if you can do that, and FaceTime. That's how many people, I think, have been doing their church services too. Emailing, texting, Zooming with friends across the country. Texting, calling, whatever works for you and your family members or friends. FaceTime. And going on a vacation later this summer, that'd be great. Everybody's been cooped up. That's something to look forward to. Sending out cards. That's a great idea. Book club, volunteering online. Dropping off gifts, ARP trivia. And it looks like Gypsy adopted a new kitty, a furry friend. Attend and contribute to Citizen Climate Lobby. Great idea. I think since we've had more alone time, we've all created different ways we can connect with people. I think we didn't have to do that before when you used to get in your car and just go do it. Now we've had to figure out new ideas. Taking an international course and Zooming internationally. That opens up a lot of doors. Okay, looks like we can probably move to the next pillar.
So my name is Connie, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about exercise. So first of all, that little guy to the right, I want to call your attention to him. And he's being chased by his insurance company because he didn't talk to his healthcare provider before he started his exercise regimen. So don't be him. Be sure you talk to your doctor first. So exercise as if your life depends on it and your brain health depends on it. So please start getting exercise. But an important point I want to make is that exercise, I think we can also start talking about exercise as movement. And the important thing about exercise and movement is that sometimes it's easier to exercise if you think of it as just moving more, because it's being sedentary actually that can be more of a killer than other bad habits. So in recent studies, actually, it's people who exercise regularly, whether it's going for a swim, walking, running, riding a bike, that can substantially lower the chances of becoming seriously ill. Aerobically fit people are less likely to catch colds and other viral infections, and they recover more quickly than people who are out of shape, in part because their immune responses to vaccines are stronger. And in short, being sedentary is the greatest risk factor. So while you can't do anything about other risks, you can exercise. And today I'm going to give you some tips on how to move more. So the general guideline is to get at least 150 minutes of exercise every week. But if you divide 150 minutes of exercise a week, that's only 20 minutes a day. So let's rethink this. If you're sitting anywhere for more than 30 minutes at a time, just get up and walk around for 5 minutes. If you wear a Fitbit or step counter or have any kind of a timer, set an alarm and get up and move around and make it a habit. If you do anything more than 7 times, that becomes a habit. That's something that has been proven. So besides bolstering your immune response, make a habit of moving more. And if you want to call it exercising more, you'll be happy to know that there are other benefits to moving more. You'll sleep better. And because you sleep better, you'll be more fun to be around. You'll have better mental health. It reduces anxiety. It decompresses your stress level and increases circulation. And increased circulation means that increased blood flow goes to your brain, and that reduces the risk of diabetes, heart disease, depression, and stroke. And that protects against Alzheimer's and dementia. Next slide, please. Eduardo, next slide, please. Thank you. So how do you get active? You go walking. You find a neighbor. You find a way to maybe walk where you don't need to drive to a location. You make it easy to go walking. Maybe you put your shoes next to the bed in the morning. Maybe you put your workout clothes next to the bed in the morning. You make it a priority to get it done first thing in the morning, so you can check it off your list. There's a great deal of satisfaction in getting something done first thing. Whether it's dancing, running, swimming, biking, I can tell you that, like I said a minute ago, if you get something that maybe you're not looking forward to done, the rest of the day can be a real breeze. If you can't bike because you're afraid of balance problems, you can get a stand for your bike and make it stationary. You don't have to buy a special stationary bike. When it comes to strength training, there are videos that you can about things that you can do get around the house, like maybe filling a bottle, and just using that to exercise your arms for upper body strength. You don't have to go out and buy weights. As for Tai Chi and yoga, they're great for balance. They're great for memory because you have to remember what moves to make in what sequences. There are videos online that you can watch to take classes to learn the correct moves and postures and poses. Next slide, please. You can do gardening, excellent for stretching and bending and breathing fresh air, getting vitamin D, as most of these outside things are. Floor stretches while you're watching TV, or keep your Pilates ball nearby. And maybe if you're watching live TV, to take stretch breaks during commercials, or pause your TV every 15 minutes and get up and walk around and do stretches. While you're cooking, do stretches for improved balance, do knee bends, do squats. While you're waiting for the microwave to finish or water to boil, don't just stand there. Look for opportunities to stretch intentionally. Stretch your fingers, your wrists, your arms. Just move any opportunity you have. What exercise is best for you? The one you like the best. Look for opportunities to move. It's the moving that's the important part. You know, here again, just a quick recap on benefits: better sleep, better relationships, better mental health, and it's the increased blood flow that's going to protect you against Alzheimer's and dementia. And I don't know about you, but those are the most scary things that I can think of. It's terrifying to me. So for me, doing what I can to lessen the likelihood of that happening to me, those are the things that I'm going to embrace. So anything is better than nothing. Exercise is life. It's free and it can be done anywhere. If you're standing in line at Winco, flex your feet. If you're at Costco, push the cart around 3 times around the perimeter. Take your grandchild to the playground and make the circuit 3 or 4 times. If you're pushing your grandchild on the swing, maybe push a little bit harder. If you count your steps, set your goal a little bit higher. Next slide, please. Let's talk. What do you do for exercise? Share your ideas. Would love to hear them. Thanks.
Well, I don't know if several of you, if you are an ARP member and you get those bombards of ARP emails, many of them have those 10-minute exercise classes in them. And they're just 10 minutes, but there's something that really can, change your life if you do them regularly. So just a suggestion, maybe look for those classes. They are very simple and easy to find online through ARP.
Great idea, Marie. Thank you.
So Cheryl has Silver Sneakers Yoga on Facebook, Walk the Dog, Pilates, yoga, walking, the treadmill, exercise bike, fishing, stretching. Stretching is good. First thing in the morning. Fit and Fall classes on YouTube. Hopefully, we do get to do those in person soon. Yard work, that can be called definite exercise. The Y has short free class videos. They're online, exercise videos listed on the resource page. 30 minutes of gliding per Tony Little, most mornings, and gardening. Good for you. Riding your bike. Walking around all the aisles at the store. I think that is something that everybody should do. If you're going to make the challenge to go to the store, might as well walk it. Tai Chi, upper body weights. That's a good idea. If you have anything, even a can of soup or something that's half a pound, even so many ounces, lifting that. I love this, flying my kite, along with gardening and walking. A good idea. If you have steps, just going up and down your steps and stretching your calves and stretching your feet on those steps too. Several ideas here on how to exercise, which you don't even have to call it exercise. It could be your daily routine. So thank you for sharing all of these ideas with us. Hopefully somebody will hear one of them that they know they can put into their daily life and challenge themselves with trying it and seeing if it works for them. So I think we can probably move on to the next pillar.
Hi, good morning. My name is Peggy Munson, and I'm going to talk to you about eating a brain healthy diet. And two things that I wanted to focus on here was number one, maybe you can see this. This is the Mediterranean diet. And why the Mediterranean diet? Because the people of North Africa, Italy, Spain, Greece, and Southern France don't all share a single diet, but the one thing is the people in this area live longer, and their diet is generally based on fresh produce, a plant-based protein, fish, healthy fats, and again we're looking at olive oil, and whole grains, limiting red meats, alcohol, and refined processed sugars. And what is good for the heart is also good for the brain. And the Mediterranean diet reduces the risk of heart disease, so you don't have the clogged vessels, the carotid arteries, and things like that. And then it also protects against cancer when you eat all these leafy greens and the purple and red vegetables along with the orange. It helps people manage diabetes who are type 1 or type 2 diabetes. And the other thing, it reduces inflammation. And they talk about, you know, is Alzheimer's caused by inflammation in the brain? But eating this kind of a diet, and I have this wonderful picture here. You probably can't see it really well, but it's got avocados, olive oil, fish, herbs, all sorts of legumes, greens, tomatoes, blueberries, raspberries here that's really good for people to eat. And do you want to switch to the next slide, please? So we talk about kale, spinach. The people in these areas that I'm going to speak about also have wild greens that they gather. I know in the United States, people used to eat thistle when they trimmed off everything, and I grow dandelions in my garden to eat. You know, whole berries, using olive oil, vinegar, lemon, and spices in lieu of using the fat salad dressings. And eating salmon and sardines is very good for us. And all sorts of nuts, walnuts, almonds, peanuts. The second thing I'm going to mention to you is this book called The Blue Zones. The research in this book was actually funded by AARP. So as a member benefit, that's a very good thing for you. But I wanted to tell you just a little about the 5 areas in the world where people live the longest and that they have the least amount of dementia. It's in Sardinia, Okinawa, Japan, Icaria, which is in the Greek islands, Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, California. And these people generally eat cleaner and eat less processed foods. And one thing, I lost my page, that they do is in Sardinia, that they grow a lot of their own food. These diets are generally mostly based on eating goat cheese or sheep cheese. They limit their dairy intake, but they eat a plant-based diet. They don't eat a lot of meat. And in Japan, they eat a purple sweet potato. And this sweet potato is just laced with all sort of antioxidants that's very, very good for everyone. Now we're going to talk about the Seventh-day Adventist in Loma Linda, California. They eat a plant-based diet. Alcohol in moderation. They're trying to avoid sugars and all processed foods, but they cook clean with lots of herbs. And again, they're using a lot of lentils, beans and rice combined together. And these all make for a very, very healthy diet. So I would encourage you to, if you can, buy this book here. It's going to go, I noticed, off the stands about June 11th, but it has wonderful recipes and that I think you will really enjoy. And the second thing, I ordered the Blue Zone book here from, and it was recommended to me by Marie Bonaminio. And I bought mine from Amazon, and I'll tell you, there's a wealth of information and knowledge in here about maintaining a good diet. And the other thing that they emphasize that these people all have in common is a sense of community and purpose. And that's a darn good reason for getting out of bed in the morning and get going. That they limited their stress. And of course, in Okinawa, Japan, and in the Greek islands and Costa Rica, these people had low levels of stress. They had lifelong friends, and in Okinawa, Japan, it's been termed as the place where people forget to die. They have a lot of people that are over the age of 100 in all these areas that I have mentioned. So I would encourage you to take a look at this Blue Zone book, and it was written by Dan Buettner. And it's Buettner, the Blue Zone Solution. And they went around all the world, and they actually came up with 20 areas. And then they isolated it down to 5 areas where people live the longest, less dementia. These people have low weight. They are not overweight. Their blood pressures are controlled. So I would really encourage you to take a look at this. And if you can get this Better Homes and Gardens Mediterranean book, it has wonderful, wonderful recipes. And you can also go online and download good diets too. So anyway, have a good day, and I encourage you to do some healthy eating. And if you have any questions or comments, please let Marie know.
Great. So if anyone has any smart eating they'd like to share with us, that would be great. I totally agree with the eating that's in the books, because I think they eat usually what's in their zone. So wherever they live in these particular books is they eat the things that come to them very simply, because it's either in their backyard or it's in their city, town, country. So they're eating all the natural foods that are right there in their backyard. If we could do that, we'd probably all be healthier people. So trying to eat a salad each day, definitely putting vegetables into you daily with nuts and fruits, making that your sweet treat for the day. And definitely foods of all colors. We know that's what your plate is supposed to have, many colors to it. I agree, eating when you're hungry. Your body knows when you're hungry. You don't have to eat all day long. You just eat when you're hungry. As long as you're eating at least 3 times a day, you're eating something. That's one way to maintain. Eating plant-based. Some people have really taken off with that. It changes your life. I would think that you'd have to ease on into that. Looks like we have somebody who cooks spinach with a scrambled egg. Great idea. And a salad and a sandwich, fruits. I mean, it's all about putting, if we all go back to years ago, we were learned the pyramid, the food pyramid, I think we could go back to that. We would all be eating correctly, which was taught to us when we were children. Nothing your great grandmother wouldn't recognize. I get it. Eating, in other words, not eating all this processed food or fast food, which is probably not good for your body or your brain. And going to the farmer's market or mobile neighborhood farmers markets and trying new, fresh, local veggies. I find that many people have either been raised with vegetables or not raised with vegetables, more often than not. I think you need to introduce it to your diet if you weren't raised with it and start putting it in daily, if you can do that. If it doesn't come natural, let's say. Having a handful of nuts as an afternoon pick-me-up, good idea. Something healthy instead of a candy bar. So I did put into the chat the name of the two books. They're not hard to find if you're interested. A couple people have asked about them. The Blue Zone and the Mediterranean book. I don't know, probably if you're not going to a bookstore right now, you couldn't search it, but I know they're online. When you can get to a bookstore, they were in stock for a long time. I'm not sure now, but there are other versions of the Mediterranean book. I know that. Smaller or bigger. Herbs rather than salt. Totally think that's the right way to go. You don't need to taste the salt, natural herbs. If you would have an interest in a garden, how about putting a small garden in your backyard, in some pots, somewhere where you can have your own herbs or a vegetable that you tend to eat more often. So it's available to you. So someone is telling me that those books are at the public libraries, and I don't know if the libraries are available for you at this point, but more than likely, eventually you're going to go to the library, or maybe you can just order it and pick it up from them. Eat food that will spoil. Eat food that won't spoil, maybe, but before it spoils. Oh, okay, I get it. In other words, whole foods, not processed. Definitely a healthy tip, not to eat the processed food. Now we seem to have more time, so you can cook things from scratch, I think. Thanks for all the great ideas, everyone. Hopefully we can all use these tips that have been coming to us in the chat window. If you'd like to look back at some of them. So I think we can move on to the next pillar.
So it's me again. And I'm going to talk about how to make sleep a priority. And if you're among the 35% of adults in the US who sleep less than 7 hours a night, I hope you'll find some helpful tips here. And if you already get between 7 and 8 hours, I hope you'll learn today. I hope what you learned today helps you get better quality sleep. First of all, why should sleep be as important as a healthy diet, drinking water, getting exercise? Because sleep deficit has been shown to be related to problems with memory, concentration, increased pain, lack of motivation, and it increases the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. And sleep apnea specifically limits the amount of oxygen that the brain needs for optimal function at night when the brain does its house cleaning. To practice good sleep techniques, here are a few techniques. Get enough sleep which is recommended 7 to 8 hours in a 24-hour period. And keep a regular schedule, and that means 30 minutes on either side of your normal sleep time. Get some genuine outdoor sunlight every day. I mean, here we are, most of us in Idaho. It's beautiful here, summertime. We've got great trees, great flowers, great parks. Vitamin D is really important. The best way to get it is to get outside. Get up at the same time every morning. Even though on weekends it's a great temptation sometimes to sleep a little bit longer, but the mornings here are just beautiful. If you're not sleepy, don't go to bed. I know that's kind of an exception to what I just said about staying within 30 minutes either way. But I'll tell you what, if you're not sleepy, that don't go to bed thing, try to figure out why you're not sleepy. And maybe it was the second cup of coffee you had with lunch. If you can't sleep, don't stay in bed. Get up, read a real book, not on a computer screen or on your Kindle, as the light from that electronic screen can keep you from going back to sleep. If worries are keeping you awake, schedule a 10 or 15-minute worry time. The brain will recognize that you're telling it that you're going to deal with whatever's bothering you the next day. So it'll say, okay, fine, you're going to take care of me tomorrow. And it will condition itself to say, yeah, okay, I can handle it. I'll let you go to sleep now. Believe it or not, that works. You know that saying, where, let's sleep on it. We'll come up with a solution to this problem tomorrow. That's actually a really good idea, because sometimes when we're sleeping, we come up with solutions to problems, or if something has been troubling us, the solution to a problem will occur to us at a later time, or something we've been trying to remember might wake us up in the middle of the night, and it's like, well, of course that's the solution. So the brain finds ways to solve problems for us, and it's really a very, very interesting phenomenon. Next slide, please. So some other techniques for getting better sleep. Adjust to reduce the amount of reduce caffeine and alcohol intake. Caffeine does stay in your system for 12 to 15 hours. And alcohol is a sedative. So it may help you fall asleep, but your sleep won't be maintained and it won't be deep sleep. Your bedroom temperature should be about 65 degrees. That makes it easier for your body to fall asleep and stay asleep. Keep pets that disturb sleep out of the bedroom. This is a really hard one because I love sleeping with my dog. I like knowing where he is, and this is a real trade-off for me. But quite frankly, I sleep better when he's in bed with me. So he stays on my bed. Restrict food and fluid for 3 hours before going to bed. I personally love my chamomile tea. I find it helps me sleep better. So we each have to figure out what is going to make us and help us sleep better. So we have to figure out what works for us, and we do have to make trade-offs. Keep smartphones, TVs, electronics out of the bedroom. Here again, if you're a caretaker for someone and it's important for someone to be able to reach you at night, obviously you need to keep your phone close to you. If people need to be in touch, then absolutely, they have to get in touch with you. So here again, this is something that you have to decide for yourself. If you do have trouble falling asleep, try listening to a free playlist on YouTube specifically designed to help you fall asleep. If you Google music to help me fall asleep, there are free playlists on YouTube. If you don't have the technology, your kids or grandkids might be able to help you download this kind of music. If you're watching this, you already have the technology to find this music. It's great. It's free most of the time. In fact, a lot of the time, and there are great lists have already been put together for you. And don't forget melatonin. Do eat vegetables that stimulate melatonin production, like tomatoes and peppers. Eat nuts like pistachios, almonds, walnuts, which Peggy has already told you are great for you for different reasons. They're high in magnesium and zinc, which can help you get a better night's sleep. Organic and raw are the best quantity. You kind of have to limit. The best quantity is 1 ounce. Eat melatonin producing fruit like grapes, strawberries, and tart cherries, kiwi and goji berries, which raise your melatonin levels naturally. To sum up, it's during sleep that the brain gets the rest it needs to use the oxygen it needs to fix and repair the brain during the day, the damage done during the day. If insomnia and sleep apnea prevent the brain from repairing itself, the result can be dementia, Alzheimer's, a vulnerable immune system, memory problems, or at the very least, a grouchy you having a rotten day. That's the bottom line. So depriving the brain of what it needs when it needs it most is asking for trouble. A good night's sleep is the gift that keeps on giving. It's as essential as healthy eating, drinking water, and exercise. So do yourself a favor and get some good sleep. Give your brain a reboot. Every morning you'll feel so much better. So next slide, please. Let's talk. Who has some good ideas for getting good sleep? Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone have some ideas that works for them? Not all of us sleep as long as others. We all know we have our own sleep patterns, but maybe there are some things that you can share that have worked for you that you'd like to have someone else try, and maybe that'll help them with their sleep pattern or their sleep ability. Eye masks, meditation, definitely. Sleepy time tea, any type of meditation music, recording music that is relaxing. Keeping the light out of your eyes, and keeping the light out of when you're trying to sleep before heading to bed too, so you don't stimulate your brain. Cave sleeping, making it cold and dark. Many people I've heard do that. Part of a way to put themselves in another zone. Reading, many people, reading puts them to sleep, from what I've understood. And I agree with the downtime. I think you have to take some time to relax before you get into bed, because you can't be all stimulated and then try to say, I'm ready to go to bed. I think the brain needs a calm down period. I'm waking up with cold feet. I'm going to try bed socks. Good idea. Cold feet, I think, will wake you up. Maybe just one of those little warm bean or rice heaters that you put into the microwave, and then you put them on in your bed and warm up the area where your feet go. Yes, spraying your pillow with lavender essential oils. Many people, I think, do this routinely to just kind of put them into that calm state before bed. I think having a routine. I had an elderly friend that passed away in her late 90s, and I always said to her, what would you say kept you alive? She goes, routine. I had a routine for getting up. I had a routine for going to bed. I ate my meals at the same routine. Maybe routine is also going to sleep within that same time frame every day, every evening. Gratitude. Yes, I think that's a great thing to end your day with. Think of all the things you're grateful for. Go to sleep with positivity. Anything else someone can think of, or shall I move on? I think we'll go on to the manage stress.
All right, it's Carol again, and I see that we're almost out of time. So I'm going to do the Cliff Notes version of Pillar 6, Manage Stress, because I also have an exercise I want to lead us through and after I go through this. Why should we manage stress? Well, as you probably know, stress affects all your body systems. It affects our muscles, respiratory system, cardiovascular, gastrointestinal, endocrine, and our nervous systems, even our reproductive system. So how can we manage stress? Okay, before I look at, when you're looking at these bullets on this slide, you'll see there's a lot of overlap with the pillars. Exercise regularly. Well, Connie addressed exercise in Pillar 3. You can smile and laugh. When you smile and laugh, that lowers your heart rate, and it also helps to reduce the levels of cortisol in your system, and cortisol is a stress hormone. You can distract yourself with music and reading, and Connie actually got into this when she was talking about sleep. Music, the music that you find relaxing can be a very individual thing. When we think of relaxing music, we usually think of things like classical music or new age music. I call that massage music because when I get a massage once a month, they're usually playing new age type of music. But for some of us, a song or music from our young adulthood, a fast-paced rock song might be relaxing for me because of the positive feelings that I have associated with that song. So that could help me relax. As Connie mentioned, if you look on Pillar 6 on your resource list, we have online sources of music where you can either just listen to the music for free or you can download the music for free and listen to it later. You can also seek out green spaces. Well, when we're outside with Mother Nature, it helps to lower our blood pressure and reduces our levels of cortisol. Next slide, please. We can also confide in friends. Hey, you know, this sounds familiar. This sounds like Pillar 2 that Eduardo covered. Socialization is valuable. We can be silent and still. And this is often called being mindful or mindfulness. And what that really means is being aware of your body. How are you feeling? Where might you feel some stress? Well, look at the next bullet. When you identify a place where you feel stress, then take a stretch break. Again, our resource list has several sites online where they have very short stretch routines that you can do for different parts of your body, depending on where you're feeling the tension. Connie has already covered the yellow bulleted comment, limit your screen time. There's an excellent article on the resource list, again, about the detrimental effects of screen time and blue light on your body and how it does increase stress. And lastly, we can take deep breaths. And after we share some ideas, we're going to do, I'll lead you through a couple of breathwork exercises. But before we move on and share, I'm going to hold this up. This is, oh, you can't see it because of my, okay, and it's reversed. All right, just believe me, the latest AARP bulletin that some of us have gotten, their lead article is Live Longer, Stronger, and Better. And it's 60 ways to live longer, stronger, and better. And when I was reading that yesterday, I realized, hey, this is the 6 pillars. Almost everything in the 6 pillars was one of the 60 things they mentioned in that article. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, Eduardo, next screen, please. let's talk. What do you do to manage the stress in your life? And since we're running short on time, maybe Marie, you can share just a couple of them, because some people, we're at our hour, and some people may have other commitments. We don't want them to miss out on our last few things that we're going to do. All right, please use your chat box to share an idea or two about how you manage stress.
I think deep breaths and mouth open, strong exhale. So, I think if you get used to that, that would be something you could do a few times a day.
Okay, and you're giving them a preview of my breath work, Marie.
And I think that's
one,
why
that's
we're
kind
gonna
of one of them. So we'll move on to that shortly.
I think we're going to lead right into your breath work due to time.
Okay.
And, we can do some breathing. We can think about some meditation and
Okay.
all the things
All
that are
right.
going to keep us calm.
All right. As you look at the quote on our screen, this is from Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a Buddhist monk, and it echoes a lot of what Marie said and what I'm going to say. All right. We're going to do a couple of breathing exercises together. The first one's called belly breathing. But what it really is it's encouraging you to breathe deeply using your diaphragm rather than shallow breathing from your lungs. So sit up comfortably. That's the first step. And you're going to place one hand on your stomach, right below your rib cage where your diaphragm is. Place your other hand on your chest, lungs. Okay, and first breathe in deeply through your nostrils while you're feeling the hand on your stomach expand as your diaphragm works to expand the stomach area. Breathe in. The hand on your chest should be still. Now you're going to open your mouth, purse your lips as if you're going to whistle, and breathe out slowly. You should feel the hand on your stomach go in as your diaphragm contracts and your stomach contracts. Again, your hand on your chest should not be moving. Let's just do that one more time because it's very simple. Breathe in, feeling the hand on your stomach. Go out. Now breathe out, feeling the hand on your stomach. Go back in. Okay, again, that's very simple. It's encouraging deep breathing. The other breathing technique is called the 4-7-8. And in a nutshell, you're breathing in for 4 seconds, holding that breath for 7, breathing out for 8. But here are the steps. Okay, get into your belly breathing. Posture again, one hand on your stomach below the rib cage, where the diaphragm is, one on your chest. Breathe in slowly but deeply for 4 seconds. Again, the hand on your stomach should move, not the hand on your chest. Hold for 7 seconds. All right, now we're going to breathe out for 8 seconds, as silently and slowly as you can, feeling the hand on your stomach. Go back in. At the end of that 8 seconds, our lungs should be empty of air. Okay, let's do it again without me talking as much. Okay, breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 7. Breathe out slowly for 8. All right, and with either breathing technique, you're going to practice it as often as you need until you feel more calm. With that second technique, again, be sure that you're breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 7, breathing out for 8. And the relationship between stress and breath is very interesting. Basically, that last technique has you breathe out more slowly and for a longer period of time than you breathe in. Well, the opposite is true too. If you want to energize yourself first thing in the morning, you'll do the opposite. You'll breathe in more quickly and for a longer period of time, and you breathe out more quickly. the opposite of the 4-7-8, and you'll find out that that energizes you. Okay, so that's just a couple breathing breathwork exercises. There are additional ones listed under Pillar 6 on our resource list. Okay, that's it. Onward, Eduardo.
Thank you, Carol. So to end our presentation, we just want to remind you, and so you can think, what can you do today? Aging studies consistently point to a few fundamental qualities of brain healthy lifestyle. The overall message is to stay active mentally, physically, and socially, with special attention to a healthy diet, good sleep, and stress reduction. Start with small steps and try to do something every day. And really quick, we have these two resources apart from the resource list that was emailed to you. We have Staying Sharp, which you can go to stayingsharp.arp.org, and we have ARP Online Learning, which is learn.arp.org. And you will find great classes and webinars and interactive videos on important issues such as family, caregiving, work and jobs, and technology literacy. And that is it. Now I think we will just go back to Marie to end the presentation. Thank you.
Well, I think that we're getting a lot of people who appreciate all that they've heard today, and hopefully they'll use this and all the resources that are offered. They all are giving the presenters many kudos. I think it was put together very well, and want to thank us all for being part of this education for them today. So we want to thank all of you for also attending this class, and we hope you'll walk away with some information that you'll use yourself and you'll share with families and friends. So we appreciate you talking about all of these pillars with anyone that you know would be able to use this in their daily life. And this has been recorded, so if there is someone that you would like to see this at a later date, you can go to our YouTube channel and you'll find this one there probably within the day. So we appreciate you being part of us. I'm sure all the team would like to thank you too. You can all unmute, and we appreciate everything you've shared. Hopefully everyone will use at least one or two